What's happening, everybody? Cujo06241 here. It is September 18th, 2014, 12:01 a.m., and this is my ninth sports vlog. It is just me. I'm not wearing jerseys no more. I said in my last one that that's all over with. But, nonetheless, the show must go on. Let's not waste any time here. Michigan beat Miami of Ohio 34-10 last week. And you know what? I gotta say I wasn't really impressed. Michigan struggled in the first half. It was 10-10. They're not convincing me that they're gonna be a good football team this year, and it kind of freaks me out because we got some big games coming, and this Saturday is no exception. Michigan will be facing the Utah Utes at at the Big House. This is a Big Ten versus Pac-12 matchup. And this is a very important game because this is this is going to kind of show the the NCAA football that that the Big Ten deserves some respect. But if Michigan is going to win this game against Utah, they're going to need to the defense looks all right, so they need to stop Utah from scoring, and they need to just pound in, get some early scores, go up, and maintain the lead if they're going to win this game against Utah. And this is a really big game. It may not seem very big because Utah is not exactly the most well-known team, but nonetheless, Michigan's got to win this one if they want to bring some respect to the Big Ten. Okay, we're going to get into the NFL now. The New England Patriots destroyed the Minnesota Vikings 30-7. I want to point out a mistake that me and my brother from another mother, living legend himself, Josh, made. We kept talking about Teddy Bridgewater, and I made the correction in the video when I was editing it. Matt Castle actually started the game, and he was just abysmal. I mean, if I'm a Vikings fan, I do not want Matt Castle as the quarterback anymore. But I understand you don't want to throw Teddy Bridgewater in there and have him get rocked. You want them to learn. But eventually, I do believe eventually Teddy Bridgewater will start for the Vikings. But anyhow, New England's defense looked absolutely great. They picked off Matt Castle 4 times. One of those picks was Darrelle Revis. Welcome to New England, my man. Even though I don't live in New England. Chandler Jones blocked a punt and took it back for a touchdown. I love Chandler Jones. He's an amazing football player, and I'm just damn happy that he plays for the New England Patriots. Tom Brady looked a little sluggish. He's not really off to the best start. But I do think that'll pick up. He'll get the ball rolling. I'm not worried about him. But something that I saw that I didn't like out of New England, way too many penalties. I think they had like 15, I want to say. It actually broke a record for Bill Belichick. Not once has he coached a team that had 15 penalties. His highest was 14 in a game. And that has to cut down because penalties cost yards, and yards could lead into touchdowns, and that's a bad thing. However, defense looked good. The offense was really good. New England looks like they're getting back into it, and I'm happy to see that. Okay, so now I got a game preview for the New England Patriots in their home opener against the Oakland Raiders. I don't think New England's going to have to put much effort into this. I'm sorry, Raiders fans, but Oakland does not look good this season. They look absolutely terrible. James Jones fumbled the ball twice in the same play last week. That should tell you a lot about the Oakland Raiders. Also, Charles Woodson made a statement saying that they just sucked. They were terrible on defense, and they deserved to lose the way they did. And yeah, so the key to winning the game for New England, they gotta do what they did to the Vikings. They gotta make life hard for Derek Carr. and they gotta score some points and they gotta maintain a lead. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible for New England to lose, and I'm not saying it's impossible for Oakland to win. Upsets happen all the time, and if New England goes into this game with the mentality that they can't lose, they'll lose. The Carolina Panthers demolished the Detroit Lions 24-7. You know what? Hey, it's like me and Josh said last week. If this game was going to be a blowout, the Lions would be on the bad end of that. Now, 17 points isn't really like a blowout per se, but it's not really something to be too optimistic about. I think the problem it's just that Carolina's defense was just way too good for the Lions offense to handle. The defense for the Detroit Lions did look really good in the first half. In the second half, they kind of fell off. Carolina just found some holes and just exposed them, or excuse me, they executed and they won the game. Lions fans don't, there's no reason to be ashamed of this. The Carolina Panthers are a damn good team. They were number 2 last year in the NFC, I believe. Yeah, because they got the second bye week next to Seattle, and I mean Carolina has a really good defense. I feel like Carolina is very underrated. They're not in the power rankings, top 5 or anything, and to me that's not fair. Carolina is a great team who is, I would say in a matter of a couple of years, I could see them being Super Bowl contenders. Bold statement, maybe. I'm just saying, Lions fans, there is no reason that we should be ashamed of losing to a team like Carolina. And the defense really did look good for a little bit. In the first half, they really held Carolina down. But, Carolina's defense was just a little too much for the Lions offense, and uh, the Lions kicking situation didn't really help. Nate Freeze, I think, was doing the kicking. He missed 2 field goals that should have been, maybe not easy, but definitely should have been made. Okay, now a game preview for the Detroit Lions against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to have to side with Detroit on this one. Green Bay, did impress me last week. They were losing to the Jets 14-3, and they came back and won 31-24. Excuse me. But I think the Lions can win this one. First of all, they're home, so that's good for Detroit. Keys to winning this game, though, are going to be pressure on Aaron Rodgers. You cannot let him get the ball off, and you got to stop Eddie Lacy too. Eddie Lacy is a damn good running back. He was the Rookie of the Year last year. And he really is underrated in my opinion. I say that to an extent, because he was Rookie of the Year last year, but I just don't feel like Eddie Lacy gets enough attention, and he definitely deserves more. And I'm not going to forget Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks playing the game right now. The Lions defense is going to have to shut those 2 guys down. And they're going to have to score. I know I've been saying that for like every game preview I've done so far, but that's how it's going to have to be. The Lions are going to have to. I think what Matt Stafford's going to have to do is he's going to have to spread out his options because after a while, Calvin Johnson is probably going to get double covered. I don't know Green Bay's cornerbacks, but I do know they have Ha Ha Clinton Dix on that team, and he's pretty good. But Green Bay, they're going to be a tough team, but I think the Lions can pull this one out. And this should come as no surprise, but there is more domestic drama in the NFL. Adrian Peterson has been placed on the exempt list, meaning that he is banned from any football activity with the Minnesota Vikings. He's still going to get paid, and all this came because he abused his kid. He punished his kid with a switch, and now there's accusations that he abused another kid that he has. To an extent, I feel bad for Adrian Peterson, but at the same time, I kind of feel like he got what he deserved. He shouldn't be allowed to play while this is all going on. I mean, NFL players are not above the law, and I'm glad to see that there is some punishment being handed out. And that brings me to something else. Ray Rice is appealing his suspension, his year-long suspension. And you know what? I don't want him to get it because I feel like he doesn't deserve it. You know, he did a bad thing. He got what he deserved. He's an asshole. But the argument that the NFL Players Association is using is actually a good one. He's being punished for the same thing twice, and that's really not fair. It's a law in the United States. You can't be tried for the same crime twice. Well, in the NFL, it's the same way. You can't be punished for the same thing twice. And I think the NFL Players Association has a good point with this. However, I personally don't want Ray Rice to play this year. I don't think he deserves it. I feel like he got what he had coming. The NFL changed its drug policy. That being the case, Josh Gordon got his suspension lowered down to 10 games now instead of a whole season, which 10 games is a little much, but at least the NFL made a step in the right direction. Now marijuana has been decriminalized as NFL in the NFL. If you piss and marijuana comes up in your blood, excuse me, your DNA, your drug test. I can't talk today. If marijuana comes up in your drug test, you're not going to get punished for it. Um, Something like that. Because it's been decriminalized in a lot of places in America. All I can say to that is refer to my first sports vlog. I pulled all those stats up then. Wes Welker is apparently coming back. A guy for the Dallas Cowboys, who were both busted for amphetamine use, are going to be playing. Brandon Browner is still not. I don't think he's playing, as far as I know. He's still got to serve 2 more game suspension. I think he got caught for PEDs, and I'm not entirely sure. I forgot. But nonetheless, when he comes back, the Patriots defense is going to look a lot tighter, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, the NFL, more domestic drama and all this bullshit. All the more reason that Roger Goodell needs to be removed as the commissioner, because he's just completely lost control of everything, and he's not a good commissioner, and he needs to go. Although I'm not going to blame all of this on him. These players do need to learn how to control themselves. So there's blame to go around. But I think anyone would agree Roger Goodell needs to be removed as the NFL's commissioner. All right, we're going to talk baseball now. The Tigers move back into first place in the AL Central Division. Now this might sound good, but they could have had a bigger lead. Last night, the Tigers were down 2-0 for a majority of the game, and then JD Martinez blasted a 3-run homer late in the ninth to put the Tigers up 3-2. And here we go, fucking Joe Nathan and his bullshit fucking drama again. Ends up blowing the save, and not only did he blow the save, he blew the whole game. The Tigers ended up losing that game on an infield single, a walk-off infield single. Now, people may argue that it wasn't all on Joe Nathan, and I could see it because Ezekiel Carrera shouldn't have. There was a ball hit center field. Ezekiel Carrera dived for it and ended up giving up a triple. Maybe he shouldn't have dived, but you know what? He's a rookie. It was a mistake, and if he catches that ball, he's a hero. And I understand he was putting himself on the line to try and save Joe Nathan's ass. And I'm just gonna say it right now. I know I was a little easy on Joe Nathan in my last vlog, and I have been easy on him on my past few. But you know what? He's blown 7 saves this season. He needs to be removed as the closer. Make Joaquin Soria the closer. Make Jim Johnson the closer. I don't really care. But Joe Nathan, just no. It's over and done with. He's 32 for 39. Just awful. He's not doing well. His ERA is over 5. Just you can't keep turning a blind eye to this. Come on, Brad. You want to win the division? You got to make adjustments for the better. And that brings me to something tonight. The Tigers just lost to the Minnesota Twins. Again, they lost 2 out of fucking 3 to Minnesota. And tonight's game was because of terrible decision making. And the biggest example sticks out to me. I mean, David Price he pitched a bad game. He really didn't pitch well tonight. I don't know what it is. David Price hasn't been putting up like David Price numbers since coming to the Tigers. Well, that's not totally true. He's had his good starts, and he's gone really deep into most of his starts as a Tiger. So I can't say he hasn't done a good job, but tonight was a bad game. The one game against the Yankees, he was awful. And against the Giants, well, the Giants, he did good after the first inning. And I think tonight was the same thing. He had a bad first inning, gave up 3 runs, blew a 2-0 lead. And then after that, he was pretty solid. But, after he left the game, and then the bullpen came in, here comes, the bullpen nightmares continue. The Tigers end up losing this game 8-4. But this could have been prevented. Terrible decision making. An example that stands out to me is Torrey Hunter was at third. Miguel Cabrera was at second. There's one out. Victor Martinez hit it to the right side of the infield. This should have gotten a run in, and Miguel Cabrera should have got the third on this. What happens? Torrey Hunter stays at third, and the Minnesota Twins got a double play out of it because Cabrera was in the middle of the baseline. So they lobbed it to first and then lobbed it back to second. And double play. Tigers got no runs, and they lost 8-4 because the bullpen gave up more fucking runs. But it wouldn't have mattered because they still would have lost anyway. This is something that's been happening to the Tigers all season. Blowing your golden opportunities. The Tigers have left so many. I've watched every game this season. I've not missed one game. And the problem I'm seeing out of the Tigers, besides the bullpen, is they tend to blow golden opportunities. They will leave guys on base. Like if somebody will get a leadoff double, they'll advance them to third on a pop fly. Then they'll strike out 2 more times, or they'll ground out to the left side a couple times and not get the run in. It's been a problem all season, and it has to stop. Now the Tigers are only a half game up. They go into Kansas City starting on Friday for a 3-gamer. This is the last time we're going to play Kansas City, so they need to take full advantage of this. You know what? I mean, a sweep would mean they go 3.5 games up. If they take 2 out of 3, let's see, if they take 2 out of 3, if they take 1, they'll be 1.5, then 2. Okay, so if they take 2 out of 3, they'll be a game and a half up. There's no way they could be 2.5. Yeah, that's how it works. So they got to go into Kansas City and take at least 2 out of 3 from the Royals if they want to maintain first place in the AL Central. And I don't think they'll have a problem with the Royals because they've dominated the Royals all season. So I don't think winning is going to be the problem. Well, it might be. I mean, I don't know what's going to go on. I don't know what's going to happen. But I got to say, the Tigers have a lot of mistakes, that they gotta just move on from. And after Kansas City, they have Chicago, and I believe they end the season against Minnesota, or it's they go up against Chicago, and then they end the season against Minnesota, I believe. And Chicago and Minnesota have been teams that the Tigers have had trouble with, so that kind of freaks me out a little, But I do think if they sweep Kansas City and they take a 3.5 game lead in the AL Central, they could probably win the division. Or if they take 2 out of 3, and if they leave Kansas City leading the AL Central, I do believe that they'll hold on to it and they can keep the AL Central, win that 4th consecutive title, and not go into the playoffs as a wild card team, because I do not want to see that. I don't want to see the Tigers, with all that fucking talent they have on that team, go in as a fucking wild card because they can't fucking win any games. Oakland can go ahead and do that all they want, but I do not want to see the Tigers doing it. And I don't think any Tigers fan for that matter, wants to see it. All right, we got to move on now, do some hockey before I just get angry and go ballistic, because the Tigers, it just really pissed me off tonight. The Red Wings finally signed Danny DeKeyser to a 2-year deal worth $4.375 million. I love Danny DeKeyser. He's a great defenseman. And I think 2 years is perfect because now he gets some time to prove himself. And I think after that, if he's as good as he was this past year, I do believe that the Red Wings will try to hold on to him for a lot longer than 2 years. But if he ends up, taking a shit and just, ended up total crap, then he can go with Kyle Quincy. Because let's face it, Kyle Quincy's done after his 2 year contract is up. There is no fucking way the Red Wings are going to keep him. So Danny DeKeyser is a Red Wing for another 2 more years. I'm really happy about that, and it's about fucking time. Now they got to sign Daniel Alfredsson, and I've heard they may make a trade for Mike Green. I'm not holding my breath as far as that trade goes, but they do need to sign Daniel Alfredsson. Not too much though, because Daniel Alfredsson is having some back problems, so I wouldn't give him any more than 2 years. Just my own opinion. All right, we're gonna move on to basketball. Team USA wins the FIBA Basketball World Cup with a 129-92 victory over Serbia. Kyrie Irving was the team MVP. The United States didn't lose one game in this FIBA tournament. All I can say is, go USA. And we have more FIBA basketball coming. This time it's the women's, and a lot of Canadians are gonna kill me for this, but I gotta mention it. The women's U.S. FIBA team destroyed the Canadian women's FIBA basketball team. I think this is preliminary, so we still got a few more games to go before the actual tournament begins. But nonetheless, I'm really glad that the U.S. women beat our neighbors to the north. Sorry, Canada, but I'm an American, and I'm going to root for the Americans. Go USA. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Next Thursday, I will record my 10th vlog, and I will have it uploaded next Friday. Hit me up on Twitter at Cujo06241 if just say hi, or if you want to talk sports, movies, anything. I am a very sociable guy. If you like what you see here and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great day. This is Cujo06241, signing out.